Next month, Sony is expected to host its very first PlayStation State of Play of 2026. Traditionally, Sony holds a State of Play around February. Last year it happened in February, and back in 2024 it actually took place during the last week of January. So based on that pattern, it's very likely this State of Play will land either during Super Bowl week or shortly after the Super Bowl, depending on when Nintendo decides to host their next Direct. But that brings up the big question. What can we actually expect from Sony's first State of Play of 2026? There are a lot of PlayStation titles rumored and expected to show up, so in today's video, let's break down what we could see. First up, Marvel's Wolverine. This game was originally revealed back in 2021 during a PlayStation showcase. Then, after years of silence, it finally reappeared during the September State of Play, instantly bringing back a ton of hype and buzz. I do expect we'll see another trailer for Marvel's Wolverine here, but I don't think this State of Play will be the main blowout for the game. More than likely, Sony will give Wolverine its own dedicated State of Play later this year. According to Jason Schreier, the game is expected to release sometime around September or October. October feels especially likely, because Sony will probably want an entire month to themselves to market Wolverine, releasing it just 1 month before GTA 6 hits. Another big first-party title expected to release in April is Saros, developed by Housemarque. I fully expect we'll get a new trailer here, especially with the game being only a couple of months away. This is shaping up to be a major release for PS5 owners, especially if you're a fan of Housemarque's previous work. From what we've seen so far, Saros gives off strong Returnal vibes, and that's definitely not a bad thing. Returnal is still one of the best PS5 exclusives out there. I also wouldn't be surprised if Sony talks about post-launch support, possibly including some kind of multiplayer or co-op element, similar to what Housemarque eventually did with Returnal. Next up is Marvel Tokon, Fighting Souls. This game was first revealed last year, and we've already had a chance to play the beta. It's being developed by Arc System Works, and honestly, this game gives off strong Marvel vs. Capcom vibes, but with a fresh twist. The game uses a 4-on-4 fighting system, where you'll be battling using different Marvel heroes like Captain America, Spider-Man, and Doctor Doom. I fully expect we'll get a brand new trailer at this State of Play, along with an official release date. My prediction is that the game will launch around July. We could also see the announcement of additional characters, possibly even a DLC expansion. Either way, I'm really excited to see what Marvel Tokon, Fighting Souls has in store. Now let's talk about Marathon. Marathon is expected to release next month in March, and we've already seen plenty of gameplay. Bungie has been making adjustments and improvements, and while the game has received mixed reactions, I personally think it's going to launch smoothly and perform well overall. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a final launch trailer or one last deep dive before release. Moving on to Ghost of Yotei. Ghost of Yotei has already been out for about 4 months, and it's currently the third best-selling game of 2025. Despite a lot of online negativity and misinformation floating around. But setting all of that aside, the game has clearly been a major success. We already know that Ghost of Yotei is getting a multiplayer mode called Ghost of Yotei Legends, which is expected to release in 2026. So I think this State of Play is the perfect place to show the first trailer and give us more details on how that multiplayer mode will work. There's also a strong chance we could see a story DLC expansion, similar to what we got with Ghost of Tsushima. As for third-party titles, there are a few big ones expected to show up. One of the most anticipated is Crimson Desert. We saw more of this game at CES, and I've heard from people who have seen it firsthand that this game could be a surprise game of the year contender. It's an open-world action-adventure game that blends gameplay elements from Ghost of Tsushima and The Witcher 3, which is a very promising combination. I expect we'll get at least one more trailer here. Another possible appearance is Resident Evil Requiem, which is scheduled to release later this year. We'll likely see one more trailer, especially as Capcom ramps up marketing. And then there's 007 First Light, which is currently scheduled to release on May 27th, potentially filling the gap before GTA 6. This game could also show up with a new trailer or gameplay showcase. And finally, as always, Sony usually ends a State of Play with one big surprise. The rumored final reveal could be the God of War spin-off project from Santa Monica Studio. According to rumors, this game could be a 2D God of War experience, similar in style to Metroid-like games or even the recent 2D Ninja Gaiden titles. I know that idea might sound surprising at first, and there will definitely be mixed reactions online. But if the gameplay feels good and the combat works, this could end up being a surprise hit. Of course, it could also be an entirely different first-party game, but either way, Sony usually saves something big for the end. So that's everything we could expect from PlayStation's State of Play next month. What do you think is going to show up? Let me know in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see you next time.